Good morning. Hope you're all well. I thought I'd just do a weekly catch up from home this week. It's a 3-day weekend for me, so I've got Saturday off. I've been out bright and early, shopping, doing bits and pieces, and now I'm back. And it's a warm one, so it's quite hot today, and I think it's going to get hotter. I think we're going to be, I don't know, mid 30s. All great for me. I love it. So last week, we went to see Jack Whitehall at the Riverside Theatre in Perth, and that was truly amazing. Absolutely had a wonderful time. So it was Jack and his mother and father who were on stage, and yeah, it was great. I mean, look, I've seen Jack in various television programs and the travels with his father as well. Loved the one when he was in Australia, obviously, and it was just great to get some British humour. So yeah, it was lovely, and it was just great to listen to the jokes. Some of them were, gosh, it definitely wasn't for kids, put it that way, and you did hear a few gasps from the audience, but actually it was fantastic, and that's just what I need, and I think everyone else needs at this moment. It was just, yeah, it was a laugh a minute, literally. So we had the whole day in Perth. We had dinner out. We were down Elizabeth Quay, taking the sights, and it was a coolish day as well. So it wasn't particularly searing hot. So I think we were about mid 20s, up to 29, and that was nice. It was nice and relaxing. I can't believe I'm saying that's nice, because if I was in the UK, 25 would actually be baking hot, but you'd have the humidity with it as well, so it would be particularly bad. But in Australia, 25, 26 is jumper weather, really. So it was a bit chilly, to say the least. So what I'll be doing this week? Well, look, we're in 2025, and I forgot then. So this is our 30th anniversary together, or it will be in September. So we've been trying to work out exactly what to do to celebrate. Now, my first thought was, you could do the usual. We can go out for a meal. We can do this, that, and the other. But no. Usually on our anniversary and special occasions, we are away. So we're not going to change that. And we are actually going to go away a couple of weeks, 10 days, a couple of weeks. And I want to be back in Bangkok for my 30th anniversary, or our 30th anniversary. I want to be in my favourite restaurant in the world, so Samson. So we are going to head back there for probably about five days. And we're going to explore the things that we haven't actually done before. So there's a number of different things we want to do. There's a place called Ancient City that we want to go to. We might go to Pattaya, but that's quite a trek outside of Bangkok. It's a seaside town. I think from what I've read, it's probably akin to Benidorm. So I actually might quite like it, because I fell in love with Benidorm when I went there, and despite the fact I would never live there, and it was raucous. It was. Yeah, we had some great nights there. It was wonderful. So we may go there. There are other things we want to do. I possibly want to go and see the elephants again, because that was probably the most beautiful experience of my life, seeing the elephants. But that was in Chiang Mai. Now, we're going in September, and that is the rainy season, but it just works out that way. So it's as though, gosh, every time we go to Thailand, it is the rainy season. but that's not too bad because it rains a bit and it's usually in the evening. And as a rule, the temperatures are still, 30 degrees plus. It's still very, very hot during the day. The sun is out. It's just in the evening you tend to get a smattering of rain, which does cool it down a little bit, which is nice. So I don't mind the rainy season. We're not going to Chiang Mai, and that's probably a good thing because obviously that's north and it's going to be wetter. And I know it is quite prone to floods at that time of year. So sadly, we're not going to go there, and we won't be able to see our friend Nam. But we will go back at a later date, not during the rainy season, and see Nam. But it would be nice to go back to Seoul Samson and see Om and all the other girls that work there, and have a lovely meal. Probably won't go to the same hotel. We're still working out what to do. I'd like to stay right in the centre of Bangkok, and I spend my life at the moment looking at YouTube influencers and videos and travellers about what they recommend and where they recommend to stay. So that always helps. And yeah, it's going to be an experience, a different experience. We've seen the majority of the stuff we need to see in Bangkok, but there are other things that we would like to experience that are just off the beaten track a little bit. So we're going to do that, and it's because I want to be there on our 30th. I did consider going to Bali and even Kuala Lumpur, but both of those places are anti-gay. Bali less so, and I've been looking at a place called Ubud, and that's more accepting than other places in Bali. KL or Kuala Lumpur is probably out of the question because it really, really is homophobic. And despite the fact I'd love to go back because I adore the place, it's just not feasible, and it's going to be a difficult one. Maybe in time, maybe things will change, I don't know. But the way the world's going at the moment, especially with Donald Trump back in power and all the rest of the far right governments sort of seizing power across the world, I'm not sure it's going to change anytime soon, and that's sad. You know, I'm grateful sometimes to be out of Europe and settled in Australia now, because when I do look at there's so much trouble in that part of the world, and it's scary. It does scare me. When you go to Asia, I kind of have this affiliation with Asia. I feel really comfortable, really at home, and I love Asian people, and they are the sweetest, nicest, loveliest people on earth, and they really do welcome you with open arms. I mean, look, Thailand is called the country of smiles, and it's true. Thai people are the best, really the best. So it will be our third time going back to Thailand, and it definitely won't be the last. And if I have my way, if we don't retire back to Europe, then possibly we'll retire to Thailand in the future. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So we're not going to be in Thailand all the time. We're trying to work out where else to go. Now, it looks like we're going to be going to Singapore, maybe for half the time as well. I've never been there. I've stopped there, but I've never actually been there. Daryl's been there many, many times, and it's not a place I've ever thought about because I'm not sure of the heritage and the history and all of these things. It's a place I want to see. It's very expensive, it's very modern, and it's not necessarily going to be something I'm used to. I do like history, and I do like looking at the heritage of a country. I'm not sure, apart from Raffles Hotel, which I know about in Singapore, whether it has all of those things that I need to make a great holiday for me. But we've got to do it. So I think we're going to bite the bullet. It's going to be expensive. It generally is. You're going to be paying what, $400-500 a night to stay there. But yeah, it's probably the right time for us. The biggest difficulty about traveling, certainly for me at the moment, is the infections I've got on the last 2 times we've been away. So that was Vietnam, and that was also in Taiwan. And I came back with a staph infection, but it was penicillin resistant. And it was in the same place on my elbow, and I'm not sure why it's happening. Now, I've had tests after tests after tests. Doctor says you're fine. He did say that particular staph infectious disease is prevalent in that part of the world, and I did Google it, Taiwan especially, and Vietnam. So I'm hoping, that's the reason. Every time I've been to Thailand, I've been fine. I haven't experienced anything bad. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, I'm going to go back. Fingers crossed, I'm not going to catch anything there. But you know what? You only live once. I've got to do it. And I've arranged my holiday as such that if anything does happen, I will have a few extra days at the end of that holiday to sort it out, because I don't want it affecting my job in any sense or form. So Singapore is going to be clean, sanitized. There's no reported cases of staph that I'm aware of. There probably has been, but as a country, it's very, very clean and very tightly regulated. So I'm quite happy to go somewhere like that. Also, with Thailand and Singapore, the flights are quicker. We're not going to be flying as much. Bali would have been the ideal, because I think the flight time to Bali is about 3 hours, 3.75 hours. But Thailand is where I need to be on my anniversary. So, we could have flown from Thailand to Bali afterwards, but it's whether or not I want to go to Bali at this point. And I think I'd rather go to Singapore, where conditions are going to probably be a bit more sanitary. I don't know. We may decide to go to Bali. Who knows? I have been looking at lots and lots and lots of different destinations. Now, Cambodia is one of my favourite countries, and Angkor Wat is a place I really want to see again, for sure. Daryl hasn't actually stayed in Cambodia at all, so he's not seen the place. I've told him about it, and once again, although it's the most fascinating place on earth, it's probably not the most sanitary place on earth, and that's true enough of a lot of Southeast Asian countries. And I'm not putting those countries down at all, because each of those places I love and I would go back to again and again and again. But it's more about looking after my own health at the moment. So I just don't want to be catching anything again. For a while, we were going away every 6 months. Now, it will be a year this time, so we would have left it a year, hoping that anything has cleared up on my elbow. Now, looking at my elbow now, it's fine. I'm guessing any slight nick or cut, can, allow any infections to get in. And it's a case of me having to change the way I do things. So yes, I'm going to be in a hot country. I'm going to have to wear long sleeve shirts, or I'm going to have to wear Chubby Grip on my elbow, possibly, just to keep anything at bay. I will probably have to shower 2-3 times a day, just to make sure that there's nothing infectious on my skin. It's about looking after yourself, in effect. I know when we were in Taiwan that the temperatures were particularly hot. And when you're walking around exploring places and looking at different places, you know, you're sweating, and you know you're walking and there's more sweating, and you know there's bacteria. You're going on underground systems, you're going into public lavatories, you're doing all these things that could possibly, you know, cause you trouble. So you have to be aware of this, and you have to yeah, you just have to look after yourself more, which I will do. I mean, the last time I went on holiday, I had sanitary wipes, I had all these antibacterial wipes, I had all the, you know, the sanitizer, everything with me, but I still caught something. Now, it might have something to do with me sitting on the outside of a plane. I don't know. I always sit on the outside seat. I'm of a certain age, so I like to be able to go to the toilet whenever I want to without having to crawl across other people. It is rather difficult at times. So sitting on the outside just allows me to do that. But you're in a confined metal tube flying in the sky with other people who have God knows what. So you've got to be careful. I've got to be more careful. Gosh, how careful can I be? So, 30 years. I will talk more about our 30 years together as the weeks go on. But you know, plans are afoot for us to travel abroad and do what we like doing best, really. And just wanted to mention as well, I don't want to go into too much detail, but I had a hospital appointment this week just to check over some procedures that I've had done. And thankfully, they're all okay. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm not going further with any operations because they are apparently very, very painful. So I'm not going forward with it, and I'm going to manage the condition as best I can. And that suits me at the moment. Maybe as I get older, that may change. Who knows? So whatever you're doing this week, have a good one. Always good to talk to you all. And if this is the first time you're listening to this, you know, subscribe, hit the subscribe button, do that. Leave any comments you want to leave, and I will endeavour to get back to you, because I always do. And if you have any comments about travelling to, you know, Singapore, Bali, Thailand safely, especially people who have weakened immune systems, not that I have, but there's a reason I'm getting infections, and I'm guessing that has something to do with it. Travelling on long journeys does also lower the immune system. But if you have any advice to leave, please do so, because I do take, you know, advice seriously. And yeah, thanks for listening as ever, and take care.